Welcome to Timekeeping. This show will attempt to chronicle year-by-year changes to the Walt Disney World Resort, from exciting new ride openings to the minutia of a store changing names. Join us as we count down to the 50th anniversary of the vacation kingdom of the world. To be blunt, 1984 did not start as a good year for Walt Disney Productions. Attendance at EPCOT Center was lagging, and the park had cost more than double initial estimates. The newly formed Disney Channel was at about half of its estimated subscriber base. The studio turned out stale films, the majority of which were failures. Management's mantra of "what would Walt do" had backfired. The fixation on what Walt had done in the 1960s was not leading to success in the 80s. At this point, Card Walker and Don Tatum had left the company. Ron Miller, Walt's son-in-law, was the CEO, and Raymond Watson, a long-term advisor and board member, was chairman. Roy E. Disney had stepped back to a board position and the company's largest shareholder. With little faith in Miller from everyone, including himself, the company's stock was down almost 40% of its value a decade previously. Analysts realized that the stock value was less than the actual assets of the company, making it prime for a leveraged buyout and liquidation. In stepped Saul Steinberg, a Wall Street financier with a history of corporate takeovers. Realizing the undervaluing of Disney stock, he went on a buying spree. Two other camps had already formed in Walt Disney Production. Miller and management and Roy and his personal businesses were all aware of the precarious nature of the stock and were working to fend off potential corporate raiders. The intricacies of greenmail, forcing a company to buy its own stock back at an inflated value, and corporate politics will be the subject of supplemental content, but suffice to say, by September of 1984, Michael Eisner and Frank Wells were now running the company. Things would never be the same. More on that in the years to come. At the Magic Kingdom, plenty of changes would be found throughout the year. On Main Street, the Polaroid Camera Center became the Kodak Camera Center as the sponsorship deal moved from Epcot to the whole resort. In Frontierland, the Frontier Woodcutter, sponsored by Rubio Artists, opened near the Shootin' Arcade. The Fife and Drum was closed in Liberty Square. The Round Table Ice Cream Shop in Fantasyland was now presented by Seal Test. In Tomorrowland, American Journeys took over the Circle Vision 360 Theater on September 15th. Months after it had premiered at Disneyland. The film was sponsored by Black & Decker. The film features sweeping vistas of sights like the Grand Canyon, the Rocky Mountains, and New York City. Rather than present itself as a simple travelogue, the film tries to present points of views of people in different areas and different walks of life. To celebrate his 50th birthday, both the Magic Kingdom and Disneyland launched the Donald Duck Birthday Parade in May. The parade featured the song "Happy, Happy Birthday to You" by Michael and Patty Silvershire. I dare you not to get this theme song stuck in your head. The parade kicked off with cheerleaders dancing with circle signs that featured Donald's face, and they could be flipped to spell Donald Duck. They were accompanied by Mickey and Minnie on a float featuring a larger version of the Donald face sign. Other floats included a colorful bucket-shaped float, a cupcake, a cake float featuring Goofy and Pluto, characters in party hats, and Donald, Daisy, and the rest of the Disney Duck family. Oh, and Donald was also accompanied by live ducks who were watched by cast members armed with a shepherd's crook in case any of the ducks tried to escape from the moving float. 3.5 miles southeast, Future World's Computer Central saw the Astuter Computer Review close on January 2nd, to be replaced with Backstage Magic on February 4th. This mixed media presentation was hosted by the human Julie and her computer sidekick Input-Output, I.O. for short. The show took guests through a live action and animated look at the history of computing and how computers work. The guests then moved into the main theater. Here, the film showcased how Disney utilized computers for both stage and backstage operations before showing the actual computer control room for Epcot Center with a Pepper's Ghost-style projection system. In World Showcase, the exhibit in China was updated to Treasures of the Forbidden City, featuring artifacts from Imperial China. The exhibit in Japan became the Art of the Japanese Theater, with kabuki artifacts. Bistro de Paris opened on the second floor of the France Pavilion above Chefs de France on June 3rd. The Biscuit Barrel in the United Kingdom was renamed Country Manor, but the wares stayed mostly the same. The first new country added to World Showcase, Morocco, opened on September 7th. The Morocco Pavilion, designed to look like a Moroccan city with realistic minaret, featured the only pavilion in which the country's government aided in the design. Inside the pavilion, North African plants including citrus trees, date palms, and olive trees, and fountains could be seen. Some of the major defining structures of the pavilion include Cella, a replication of the necropolis in Rabat, and the Kotabuya, a replica of the minaret of the same name in Marrakesh. A replica of Bab Boujalad, the gateway to the Fez Medina, leads you to the bazaar area. King Hassan II actually sent Moroccan artisans to design and create the many mosaics. Due to Islamic religious beliefs on the content of art, the mosaics contain no representations of people. The government also sponsored the pavilion. Restaurant Marrakesh anchored the pavilion in the back. As you entered the pavilion courtyard, to your left you'd find the Gallery of Arts and History and the Fez House, galleries of Moroccan art and architecture respectively. Behind the Fez House was Casablanca Carpets, selling woven goods. In the center of the pavilion sat Tangier Traders Clothing and Leatherwork, Jewels of the Sahara, which was a jewelry store, the Brass Bazaar, which sold brass and copperworks, and Marketplace in the Medina, which was a wicker furniture shop. On the right-hand side, you'd first encounter the Medina Arts Gallery. Then the tourism information presented by Royal Air Maroc, Mensk Potters, and Casbah Woodcrafts. On June 9th, Laserphonic Fantasy replaced A New World Fantasy as the park's nighttime spectacular. The shows were similar and had the same soundtrack, but Laserphonic Fantasy included the addition of laser projection barges around the lagoon, as the name might indicate. It was also the first use of laser projection on water screens anywhere. The Polynesian Village saw significant updates in 1984 as well. Mickey's Tropical Review was added as an early version of the luau aimed at families and featured the Fab Five characters. The South Seas Room closed to become banquet space, while the main restaurants were both refurbished. The Morea and Pago Pago buildings began construction in 1984 as well. 1984 could arguably be the most defining year for Walt Disney Productions in its entire history. The events set in motion by the attempted buyout would redefine the company from a company focusing on children's entertainment to eventually the world's largest entertainment conglomerate. Walt Disney World would soon utilize its full potential as its pace of expansion would accelerate exponentially in the coming years under the new management with a grand vision. The days of shorter timekeeping episodes might be over. Well, time flies. Enjoying your jump from time to time with us? Well, please hit the like button and subscribe to support this show and others. You can also join the WDWNT Inner Globe Society for exclusive content at patreon.com/WDWNT. If you're looking for the perfect gear to celebrate 50 years of Walt Disney World, you can shop for apparel, accessories, and more at carousellaproducts.com. We'll see you real soon right here on Timekeeping.